inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. It's good to see you guys. It's the 2nd of January. Have we made it? We made it through the beginning of another year. We made it. Hopefully you guys are having a good start to your year. But if you guys don't mind, you know what I'm going to say before I even tell you who I am. Hit that like button. No, please hit the like button. But who I am Tanya. Welcome to the channel. This is TitaniumBuilt. This is where we, break down true crime cases. We do document dumps, court filings. We use verified information, and we just try not to put any more rumors out into the rumor mill. So that's what we try to do on this channel. Put my desk down a little bit, get myself more comfortable here because we're going to be reading a little bit. But it's good to see everyone. Let me see who's in the chat here. Oh, Nightbot. There's Nightbot. He'll never let me down. As soon as I jump over, that's all there was. It was Nightbot. Hey, Ladybug. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Lee. Welcome in. Hey, Dion. Taking your mom to get her hair done. I love that. Does she do the curlers? Like the whole thing, like, under the heater, kind of like a perm almost, but it's just curling your hair. It's a good thing to do. Wish I could do that, actually. Have someone do my hair. That'd be fun. It's not hard to do my hair, so. It's good to see you, Ladybug. I feel like it has been a couple days, or at least maybe just a day. Maybe just a day. Maybe just one live. I did switch up the back. If you guys haven't been able to tell, we're back to we're back to regular, scheduled broadcasting there. But my emblem, I needs to go the other side because that ain't gonna make no sense if it's covering my sign. There, I think it's covering the sign for y'all. Anyway, so now it's not. Yeah, but I put the candles on the other side. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know if I like them over there. I think I might switch them back over to the other side here. I don't know yet. I don't know. We're trying new things, though. We're trying new things. But today, we're going to be diving back into the Idaho 4 case. We've been kind of going over this case for the last few days. Specifically, we're going to be going over Detective Mowery's reports. These reports are important because they help lay out the evidence that investigators used or interpreted evidence early on, and what steps they took, and how they kind of came to Bryan Kohberger, right? So make sure you like the stream, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll get right into it. Get right into the reports because there's a lot. Thank you, Lita. So nice. Hats off to the work you do. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the super sticker. That's very sweet. Thank you. Where is Nancy? Nancy's packed away. She's packed away, but I might have to bring her back out. Maybe I could put it back in the corner by the tree. I have a tree back in this corner. You can't see it. I told Vincent to work on that. That's just, I'm like, work on finding me a good light because I can't find, I have two lights. They're supposed to like make it brighter, but they don't. All they do is, I'm getting the paperwork up. All they do is just like shine it a little bit and it didn't work, you know? But I do have, which one do I want? I think it's this one. Yeah. Actually, I had one I was marking on. That's okay. We'll use this one. That's fine. I had one that I was like, trying to highlight, but we'll use this one instead. And I'll blow this up a little bit so that way everybody can see it. If you guys want to read along with me, some people like to read along. You never know. And I appreciate you guys being here. Oh, you slept through one day? Hey, shoot. I've been sleeping a lot. I'll tell you what, I've just been really tired. So before we dive into the reports, let's talk quickly about Detective Mowery and why his documentation kind of matters in this case. Mowery was directly involved in the investigation and contributed to written reports that detailed evidence collection, observations at or connected to the crime scene, investigative steps that were taken during the early phase of the case in coordination with other agencies. So these reports will help us understand not just what investigators believed, but why they believed it. In Mowery's reports, we see detailed documentation of evidence that investigators considered relevant at the time. This includes, it'll include timelines, movements, and how certain details fit into the larger narrative investigators were informing. So, but what is important to remember is that these reports reflect the investigators' understanding at that moment, not necessarily the final version of events presented, when he took the plea. So you will see kind of how they just their train of thought. There's a lot of reports. So we're going to go through his today because there's 115 pages. Some of this stuff we can kind of go like fly by. Oops. Some of it we won't. What was that? I don't even know what I just did there. Press this button. Oh, it just told me what file it was. So my keyboard does weird things. Okay. I'll put my glasses on. Okay, Ladybug, thank you. She said, I'm going to the other side. Okay, so this is going to be, like I said, reporting officer on all these reports is going to be Lawrence Mowery. The date on this one is 11/17, and these are going to be cell phone warrants that they took. We read about these before. I can't tell you really whose numbers which. If I got my book out, I might be able to. I should have did that. I have like a 3-ring binder that's like full of stuff, but it'll tell us in here which ones they are. So November 16th, I applied for and was granted the following warrants. So they wanted cell phone providers serving the area around the King Road house, in Moscow. They wanted records from AT&T. They have the GPS coordinates in there. They want, the advanced, or pertaining to location information and timing advanced real-time tools. So they wanted for AT&T call detail records. They have 3 numbers listed here, 3 AT&T wireless numbers. And then on the next one, they have Verizon, and then they have 3 Verizon numbers. Also, they have a T-Mobile, and that is, I don't know how many T-Mobiles. Oh, there's 2 T-Mobiles. It's a lot of 1, 2, 8 people. I can name 7. I don't know who the 8th one was. Maybe someone had 2 phones. Okay. So then T-Mobile and then Inland Cellular, which I've never heard of them before. But I remember reading the reports to you guys when we first got these. Like, not these, but the warrants. So then here I saw this. I was like, what? And this is 11/17, Mr. Gonzalez Street. He reaches out. So on November 15th, 2022, I received an email, and it says, from Steve Gonzalez, the father of Kaylee Gonzalez. He stated he had access to some of Kaylee's messages and phone calls. Steve stated he would have his other daughter, Olivia, contact me about those files. I was able to speak to Olivia, and she sent me the various files, including an image from the spokesman review showing a camera on a nearby residence, text messages between Kaylee and Jack Decor, text messages between Kaylee and her Uber driver, Eric, a recent phone call list, and video from the Grub Truck Twitch TV feed. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot to digest, right? Like, they took them a lot of evidence. Wow. They didn't even probably know about the Grub Truck. Well, then we know they didn't, but that's, So by the 15th, they give them 2 days. They got some stuff. I attached these files to our case file. The communication between Kaylee and Decor was located on Decor's phone, examination, and the Twitch feed was previously downloaded. In the image showing the camera, it was found that residence was at 1112 King Road. The SD card from the camera was brought to the Moscow Police Department, but was the file system of the card was not recognized by any of the forensic computers. I think that's supposed to say, but the file system. He's putting in extra words. The card was returned to the owner and reinstalled into the camera. So then November 17th, Officer John Rosinski recontacted the owner of the camera, Paige Carter, via phone. Carter stated she was out of town, but sent a video to Officer Rosinski showing a figure walk to the dumpster and appear to look inside. That's weird. To preserve any potential evidence on the camera, I asked Carter if we could seize the entire device, including the SD card, to which she stated yes. Carter stated she would not be back in Moscow until approximately November 28th, 2022. I directed Carter to contact me when she returns to her residence, at which time I will attempt to connect the camera back to her Wi-Fi router and view video from the device. Sorry, guys. And remember, he did do that. But whenever he took it, or when he went to reinstall it back, it broke. So instead of him reinstalling it back into the light bulb, it comes with this extra piece if you buy one, and it's you can twist it in there and you can plug it into like an outlet, right? And it has 3 prongs. So if you don't have access to a light bulb, you can use it that way. And I think that's how they ended up resecuring it back for them, which is kind of crazy. So then let's go down. November 18th is a blank page. I don't know if we're missing a report or if it's like, redacted, but they're not redacting the name, so I don't know. So preservation of Facebook is the next one. On November 18th, I received an email from Olivia Gonzalez showing a screenshot of a Facebook post from Dylan Mortensen. In the post, the username was Dylan.Mortensen, reported details about the incident. I searched for this user and found a user ID of, and it gives the number. This account had an avatar similar to the Mortensen avatar. I was able to pull up the account and it appeared to have the following friends associated with it: Jake Schreiger, Lakeland McComas, Maddie.Mogan.1. I requested preservation of all 4 of these accounts at approximately 0745 hours. I received an email from Facebook stating the accounts were preserved. Okay. So then November 13th, 2022, the date was 11/18, but on November 13th, I was informed 2 of the victims had been patrons at the Grub Truck located on Main Street in Moscow, Idaho. I was also informed Grub Truck streams live feeds of their customers and sales via Twitch TV. I was able to locate the Twitch account Grub Truckers and located the stream from November 12th through the 13th, 2022. The stream was labeled the Carbonara Effect. We'll never reveal our secret ingredient. In the video, Kaylee and Maddie are seen walking into camera view on the video at 3:43:01 timestamp. They are accompanied by a male, later identified as Jack Showalter. Gonzalez orders and receives food. At the 3:53:31 timestamp, the girls are seen walking around the truck and leave the area. Showalter appears to be talking to another patron and does not see the girls leave. Showalter then raises his arms in a what fashion and walks away in a different direction of the girls. Okay, what would that be like? Sorry, I'm just looking to see what this means real quick. Okay, so I'm like, isn't that like, hey, citizen, the time is, the time is off. That's not military. It's like 2 hours off. Oh, it's because, do you think it's because it's, no, that wouldn't be it. That wouldn't be like because it's a time change. I don't know, just keep that in mind. This should be like more like 1:40. Let's see this really quick. Not that. I need to do that. Okay. Yeah, I'm over here. I'm like trying to look up and I'm like, no, that's the time. Okay, that's weird. Okay. But why do I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that there's a reasonable explanation for that. I feel like maybe the grub truck video might have been off. I'm trying to remember back to when we were watching it because we only watched it like once or twice or maybe a couple times, a few times. Maybe more than that, maybe like a handful. I don't know. But it's been a really long time. It's been years since we watched it. So on November 18th, 2022. Oh, yeah, be careful driving. On November 18th, 2022, I logged into the Uber law enforcement portal and submitted an exigent preservation request for any location data associated with the Uber driver named Eric Gower with the phone number of, and it gives his phone number. Wow. They didn't redact anything. Due to the nature of the investigation, Uber recommended an exigency request for the preservation. Okay, in a screenshot received from Olivia, it showed messages which appear to be from Gower's phone, which is the Uber driver, between Kaylee and himself. The name of the recipient is Kaylee Uber. It is unknown if Gower was on duty with Uber at the time of him picking up Gonzalez and Maddie Mogan. Uber stated if the driver was on duty, it would show the location of the vehicle. If the driver was not on duty, Uber would not have the data. I was informed by Uber customer service this is common if the driver provides personal transportation services. And I think that's what he was doing with a lot of the students. So he wouldn't have to pay out Uber, right? He just says, hey, give me $5. I'll take you 2 minutes down the road or whatever it is, So then he received an email from Uber saying like, hey, we got your request. And then they said back to him, it contained files and it was regarding the Uber logs for Eric. The records showed his location up until approximately 01:15 hours where it appears no other information is found and he goes off duty. So no warrant was requested or returned as Uber provided the data. Okay, that they needed. Okay, so this is, he contacts Detective Neil Uhrig and he wants help examining the laptops and iPad located in the residence. Detective Yurig arrived in the Moscow Police Department and received the following evidence item numbers. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Apple. That's a good name. Apple laptops or MacBooks, 2 Dell laptops, and 1 Apple iPad. So then the date is November 19th, but on the date 13th, on November 13th, he was informed of a possible surveillance camera located at 1112 King Road. Corporal Ryan Snyder had spoken with one of the residents at this location, Paige Carter, who had a camera using the HomeEye Pro app on the porch of their dwelling. That's exactly what I have. We did buy the right camera, the exact camera. Yeah, like right here. Hold on. I don't want to allow it to share my location, but that's like the app. So yeah, we did it right, Vincent. I knew we got the right one because Vincent looked at it and he knows cameras, but still. Corporal Snyder provided me with the username and password for the HomeEye Pro account associated with Carter. I asked Corporal Snyder if this video was stored on a cloud-based system for me to view or if Carter could download a copy of the video. I was provided a 32 gigabyte storage or gigabyte SD card from the camera, but the file format was not recognized by any of my forensic computers and prompted me to format the disk. Corporal Snyder informed me Carter could screen capture the video from her phone, and the card was returned to Carter to enable her to assist in the acquisition of the data. So their computers aren't recognizing her camera, probably because it's like such a low grade camera. I mean, really it is. They're like $20 or less. And I think anyway, they might be more now if this was a couple years ago, but it didn't recognize it. So he's like, just take it back to her and have her videotape with her phone. Just like, with him passing in the car at the gas station, just videotape with your phone. Like, what are we doing, guys? We need some better, you guys need some people in your data center to be able to do this. On November 17th, 2022, I requested the assistance of Officer John Rosinski to recontact Carter and see if she could provide the video from the camera. So she stated, like, he calls her. She goes, hey, I'm in Boise until November 28th. I already told you that. Like, she already said that. Officer Carter sent him a video of a male subject walking by the camera at approximately 3:20 hours towards the dumpster on Officer Rosinski. Okay, that makes me, he can't write. Okay, he's walking towards the dumpster. Officer Rosinski contacted me and I spoke to Carter and requested permission to remove the camera from the residence, and she consented. Based on my training and experience, I know many of the different video surveillance cameras use a first in, first out storage retention system. This means the newer data overwrites the older data. I was concerned data may be lost the longer the camera continued to record footage. Very good point. Very good point. Because every time something goes near it, it turns on. And that's like on a very busy road, right? So I requested assistance from Officer Aaron Morris to go to the residence and unscrew the camera from its location. The camera unscrews into a common light bulb base commonly found on a patio/porch fixture. Officer Morris returned a short time later with the camera and the SD card. So then on November 18th, they attempted to view the contents again. I plugged the card into a write blocker and it still was not recognized by the computer. I used FTK Imager version 4.7.1.2 to make an image of the SD card. Let me know if you guys know anything about this. I don't. Now that the image was on the drive I recognized by the operating system, I then used Axiom Magnet version to phase data from the card. In reviewing the data, I found over 13,000 individual images from the card. They appear to be individual video frames from the camera. That camera was the whole like neighborhood watch. It really was. It really was. While attempting to view the data on the card, I received a forwarded email from Charles Nico, whose sister Mora Kiddo resides at the residence. The email stated that he was viewing the video remotely when Officer Morris removed the camera. He stated he saw a suspicious vehicle in the area and was concerned with the video footage stored on the device being overwritten. What? This guy just calls and he's like, I'm afraid this might be inaccurate. Might be overwritten. I don't know. Is that what it is, Swift? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I knew that there was something about it that was like familiar, but there was something about it that that was wrong. I was like, this is wrong. I was like, I know there's a good answer for this. So thank you. So it says, I was then put in touch with Tori Long, another resident at the 1112 house. And Long stated she would be back in Moscow at approximately 200 hours. 2,000 hours, I guess it would be. But I think it's 2,200. I met with Long at her residence and asked again if she would be willing to assist in the recording screen captures on her phone from the device. I explained to Long I would replace the camera, gather the information, and then take the camera as evidence. I also explained to Long I needed to take the wireless router since the camera was already linked to the Wi-Fi network. Long stated she would consent and allow both of items to be seized. I reinstalled the camera in the light socket and it powered on. So, okay. I was able to watch as Long access the footage on the camera. During this time, the camera showed a vehicle entering the area at approximately 03:56 hours and leaving at a high rate of speed at approximately 04:20. Long provided the videos to me. I uninstalled the camera and seized the wireless router. Both items were then taken back to Moscow Police Department as evidence. On November 19th, while reviewing the videos located at 03:56 and 04:20, it appeared the vehicle left the area and may have traveled on Walenta Drive. However, the vehicle stopped. In an attempt to see further and gain perhaps a better resolution, I reconstructed the wireless network the camera operated on by powering on the wireless router. I downloaded the HomeEye Pro app on my work phone. I was able to use the app and download video clips. These clips include audio, which were not a part of the screenshots completed and were not able to capture a longer duration. Okay. In the clips, the vehicle's exhaust and acceleration can be heard, as well as seeing the vehicle leave at a high rate of speed on Walenta Drive. After capturing the clips, I disconnected the camera and Wi-Fi router and placed them into evidence. The videos were placed into a DVD and placed into evidence. So you didn't hear like Murphy out there barking like we all heard. You didn't hear the thump. You didn't hear any of that. We'll see. So this is on, on November 15th. And it says, on November 13th, I responded to 1122 King Road in an attempt to interrogate the wireless router located at this residence. He's going to interrogate it? Does he mean take it? After speaking with Corporal Brett Payne, he informed me the wireless router and cable modem were located in the living room on the second floor. After arrival, I used an Ethernet cable to connect my laptop to the local area network. The router then provided my laptop with an IP address and gateway IP, which resolved to the router. I attempted to locate a web-based management portal for the device, but was prompted to download the Spectrum app and use the account username and password to access the device. I contacted Spectrum technical support and found this was the only way for the client to access the data on the device. I then called the Carter Law Enforcement Response Team and spoke with a representative and tried to ascertain if Carter Spectrum could retrieve data from the router via their diagnostic portal. After several days and phone calls to Carter, I spoke with Tammy DeLoach, the manager of the Legal Response Operations Center. So she said her team was working on verifying if the router hardware was able to be accessed. She should know that. On November 17th, I again called Carter and left a voicemail. DeLoach returned my call and stated her technicians were able to access and download the data from the router. However, they did not preserve the correct time frame specified in my request. I was told she would have her technicians retry and preserve the data. it shouldn't be that hard, right? On November 17th, I again called Carter and left a voicemail for Deloach. I received a call back from Deloach who stated the technicians were able to retrieve data from the time periods of September 14th, 2022 to November 7th, 2022, and November 11th to November 14th. I was informed there was a problem with their cloud services, and that resulted in the data loss for November 8th through the 10th. I informed Deloach I would be applying for a warrant and requesting that data with the legal process. From my training and experience, I know wireless routers allow wireless devices, phones, tablets, laptops to connect to them for access to the internet or other devices on local area networks. During this process, after a device has successfully connected to the wireless router, a log of this connection and the specific MAC address of each device is kept on the device. If a user previously selected the connect automatically setting while connecting to the wireless router, which is a common default setting, the device will connect to the router automatically without any user input. Ain't that the truth? These devices would have to be in close proximity of the router to be shown on the MAC address log. Okay, you got to be pretty close. And that's what I was saying, like all along, like you'd have to be super close. I mean, for the phone to connect, like you can't be like out in the middle of the road, in my opinion. And maybe you could, but I don't think so. I would think that you'd have to be a little bit closer than that. Not like inside or anything, but just closer to the connection, like at least in their driveway. But maybe not, because they did have a big house. The data previously stored on the wireless router located at the King Road house and preserved by Spectrum may show individual MAC addresses of devices connected to the device. If the suspect had previously connected to the wireless router, was in close proximity to the wireless router located in the residence, this device may have automatically connected and appeared on the MAC address logs. This could provide evidence of when a device was in close proximity of the router on the night Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan were murdered. I requested the assistance of the Latah County Prosecutor Office in applying for a warrant. Okay. They want a time frame of September 14th to November 14th. On November 21st, I was granted a warrant for the data preserved by Carter, which is Spectrum, and served the warrant at approximately 20:39 hours. So then he received, November 22nd, he received an email stating the files were ready to be downloaded, right? And then he completed the warrant return. These documents were sent to the McNeil's prosecutor's office to be returned to the court. Okay, well, what did they say? I want to know. Okay. Maybe we have to wait. So then this is on 11/17. On 11/17, Jack DeCore was interviewed by Sergeant Mike Van Leuven from the Idaho State Police at the ISP District 1 office. That was pretty scary. At that time, he provided his phone to Sergeant Van Leuven, along with consent to search the phone. That phone is an iPhone XR with the IMEI, and he gives the number. Transported to the Coeur d'Alene Police Department Forensic Lab. It gives the address. I applied for and was granted a search warrant for the contents of the iPhone. The phone was to be extracted by Dustin Taylor at the Coeur d'Alene Police Department. Just think Brian Koberger could have had that job. You know, like that's what he wanted to do. Help police with forensic data. Detective Mike Van Leuven had taken the phone to Dustin Taylor at the forensics lab. On November 18th, while confirming Detective Taylor received the warrant, I was informed the phone was no longer at Coeur d'Alene Police Department. Idaho State Police Lieutenant Paul Berger picked up the phone from Taylor and delivered it to the Spokane County Sheriff's Office, where investigative analyst Vince Jimmo received it. The data on the phone was forensically extracted at that location. So they went through his phone. On November 19th, Idaho State Police Detective Richardson, I don't know if that's what it says, retrieved the phone from the forensic lab and delivered the phone to the Core's mother per the attorney's wishes. On November 21st, Detective Anderson of the Idaho State Police provided Sergeant Van Leuven with the USB drive containing the extraction. Van Leuven then provided the USB drive to me, and it was placed in a secure forensic lab at the Moscow Police Department. An examination will be completed at my earliest convenience. Why didn't you do it then and there? Just asking. Since the warrant was not served, okay, I did not complete a warrant return receipt. Okay, as nothing was collected. Then we got a blank page. This is the 15th. I don't know. These aren't in order. Sorry. Interview 1, Dylan Mortensen. Date of birth, 9/26/2003. Oh, I hope she changed her phone number. On 11/13/22, Dylan Mortensen was interviewed in regard to the homicide investigation at King Road, 1122 King Road. Dylan said she was a resident of the house where the incident occurred. Dylan said she was at a Sigma Chi party at around 10:30 hours on 11/12/2022 where she was drinking. Dylan said she went to Allie's house. Dylan said she believed she arrived home between, I think that's 12:30 and 1 o'clock on 11/13/22. Dylan said she thought Bethany arrived home at around 20 minutes after she arrived. Dylan said she believed Maddie and Kaylee arrived home at around 1:30 or 2 o'clock on 11/13/22. Dylan said up to this, nothing weird had happened during the night. Dylan said she and her friend Lake came home, followed by Bethany from Sigma Chi. Dylan said Lake lived at the Pi Beta Phi house and Bethany was her roommate at the residence. Dylan said when Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Gonzalez came home from the corner club at the same time, everyone went to bed. Dylan was asked about the layout of her house. Dylan said Kaylee's room was directly above her room. Dylan said she lived on the second floor and Kaylee lived on the third floor. Dylan said Kaylee and Maddie both lived upstairs on the third floor in separate rooms. Dylan said Xana lived closest to the bathroom on the second floor and Bethany lived on the first floor. When asked about Murphy, Dylan said it was a dog owned in common between Kaylee and her ex-boyfriend, Jack. Dylan said there were no apparent issues between Kaylee and Jack. Dylan said Maddie had a boyfriend named Jake Schreier, who was in Boise at the time of the incident. Dylan indicated Xana was dating Ethan Chapin, who was in the room with her at the time of the incident. Dylan did not know if anyone who would want to hurt Ethan when she was asked. Dylan was asked if she saw any cars in the area that should not be there. Dylan said, no, I was not really looking at that. Dylan said she woke up at around 0400 hours on 11/13 where she could hear, he spelled it like this, oh my gosh, Here, hear Kaylee and Murphy, the dog, dancing. Okay, so at 0400 hours, she could hear Kaylee and Murphy, the dog, dancing. Dylan said she knew it was Kaylee because she recognized her voice and could hear Murphy barking. Dylan said she heard Kaylee go upstairs and say, there is someone here. Dylan said she thought she heard Kaylee run back down the stairs. Dylan said Kaylee sounded scared when she made this statement. Dylan said at this time she jumped up, locked the door because she did not know what else to do. Dylan said she called out Kaylee's name and did not indicate if she got a response. Dylan said she then tried to call Kaylee, Xana, and Maddie on their phones. Dylan was asked if she saw anyone come downstairs or heard anything. Dylan said, no, I don't even know how they got in. We're usually pretty good about locking doors and never had problems before. It was just really random. When asked again about the series of events, Dylan said she opened the door when she cried out to Kaylee, then closed the door because she was scared. Dylan said she then opened the door again and heard who she thought was Kaylee, but could have been Xana crying in the bathroom. Dylan said she then heard a man's voice say, it's okay, I'm going to help you. Dylan said it was weird because the statement was not in a nice way and the voice was one she never heard before. Dylan says she called out to Kaylee again and there was no crying after, and she did not know what happened after that. Dylan said she opened the door again and the guy is right there. Dylan described the male as approximately her height, 5'10" or a few inches taller, not skinny but athletic build. Dylan said the suspect was wearing all black with mask that covered just his forehead and goes around his mouth, or his face, sorry. So just his forehead and goes around his face. Dylan showed with her hands the mask exposed his nose but covered the mouth area. Hey, Julian. Oh gosh. Cheese came from Jules' comment section. People seem to be convinced Bethany and Jack D were hooking up after these pages released and saying it's true. Oh my gosh. No way. Thank you so much for the super sticker. No way. I was wondering how they were going to twist this. That's, I don't even know what to say to that. Like, oh my goodness. If you guys believe that, like, if you believe that, then, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, bigger problems, right? That's what they're saying. I'm gonna make up some crazy shit. Watch. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't. I couldn't. But you know, if you can go to bed at night. Next, they're gonna say Dylan and Brian Koberger were together. Watch. I said that. Now it's gonna be going around. Dylan said she believed the suspect was white, but did not remember eyebrow color or what his eyes looked like. Dylan said when she saw the suspect, he saw her and just left. Dylan said she believed he was holding something near his stomach or belt line. Dylan used both hands to point straight out from her abdomen. Wait, hold on, Dylan. He was holding something near his stomach or belt line. To point straight out from her abdomen. She then moved her hands apart, back and forth to simulate a bulge. So I'm wondering if it was like this way. Like maybe he wasn't holding it in his hand. Maybe it was in like a pocket like I have. Yeah, I do have one. Like, you know, like one of these pockets. Because she was like simulating bulge. Like, I don't know. Dylan said this area was black in color. And she thought now maybe it was a gun. Dylan said the unknown object had an arrow shape. Dylan seemed really unsure and said she was tired during the event. Well, that and drunk. Oh, some psychic. Oh my gosh. No, but the Trust Me Bro guy, I'll listen to him. The little stick figure guy. If you know who that person is. I know. That's the thing. Okay. If they say that Brian is guilty, then that's the end of they have to go to another case. They would have to actually research. Let's just be real. That's what it is. And I like to use my brain. That's why we cover other cases on this channel. Can't just cover just one. As much as, you know, that would be easy. I wouldn't like that though. Okay. So she said she was tired, but she wasn't. She was a little drunk. Dylan was asked how long she believed it was from the time Kaylee said someone is here to when she saw the suspect. Dylan said she thought it was about 10 or 20 minutes. Dylan went on to say she was in and out of it and she did not fully remember the incident. Dylan was asked where the suspect was in the residence when Dylan saw him. Dylan said the suspect was between her bedroom door and the kitchen. Dylan said she remembered watching the suspect go out the kitchen door and leave. Dylan said at this time she closed her door and locked it as fast as she could. Dylan said the suspect did not walk towards her or say anything. Dylan said once the suspect left, she immediately called Bethany. Dylan said Bethany informed her she heard a sound that sounded like a firework. Dylan then said she told Bethany she called everyone and they are not answering. Dylan said she was in and out of it and believed everyone was just asleep. Dylan said she then went to Bethany's room, locked the door, and went to bed. Dylan said she woke up at around 11 or 1200 hours and called her roommates and no one answered. Dylan said she called Hunter. Hunter came to the residence, went upstairs, and told Dylan they needed to call law enforcement immediately. Dylan was asked if there was anything else she wanted to share. Dylan said the noise Bethany described the noise as a loud boom, but Dylan did not hear it. A loud boom. Could that be like, Xana falling? Thank you, Chloe J.Ann. Thank you for becoming a member. That's so nice of you. Thank you. K-words are huge. Well, it could be, Dylan. I was thinking maybe so, okay, they're saying that we haven't heard from, like, police yet, but we heard from Dateline. I know source from Dateline. I know. I'm just going with it for part of this. But they said he sat down for a second in Xana's room. Maybe he sat down and she had that desk. I'm wondering if maybe she had some sort of, like, jewelry holder, like something that opened like in like a cylinder kind of way. And that's what he just took that to put the knife in. Because at that point, that's when he would realize, oh shit, I don't have my sheath, right? Like, let's say he sits down after he murders everybody. He sits down, he's got his knife and he's just sitting there, resting for a second. And then he looks down at his knife and he's like, oh, you know, I don't have nothing to put my knife in. I'm just saying. Okay. So maybe let's read this part. Maybe this is where they're getting it. Where the hell are they getting freaking her and Jack? Dylan was asked if any of her roommates shared any weird experiences in the last couple weeks or calls or texts. Dylan said, no, it's been all normal, nothing weird at all. Nothing really weird happens in Moscow usually. When asked if there were any altercations at the Sigma Chi party, Dylan said no, everything was normal. Well, okay. No fights. Dylan mentioned again she was with Dylan and Xana at the party. Dylan was asked if anyone was having sexual relations with anyone they shouldn't be. Dylan said no. Well, I guess she could have said her. Thank you for the super sticker. Julian, that's so sweet. Might be Xana turning on lights and closing door to get DoorDash. It could be. Flashbang like a firework. Yeah, it could be. But her bedroom, see where the door is? Okay. Let me see how I explain it. Say I'm going up the stairs from the first floor of the house to the second floor of the house, and I'm standing at the stairway. The door would be right here, right? You have to go all the way around the stairs and back a hallway to get to Bethany's room. So you have to literally, like, the stairs are covering her room. So I don't think it'd be anything at the door, if that makes any sense. It would have to be closer to her bedroom. But even then, I don't think Xana's room's closer to her bedroom. It would be more like Dylan and the living room. Could it be Brian Koberger hitting that table? I don't know. And it's just like making a weird noise. I don't know. That's good questions, though. You guys got good questions. She left it at the front door. Yeah, so she left it at the front door. She left it at 3:59 was when she snapped the photo, and Xana got it by 4 o'clock or something like that. You have a taser that sounds like a firework? My mom always wanted a taser. She used to call him a laser. I'm like, if you can't even pronounce it right, Mom, you're not getting one. I was her taser. So, I mean, they asked, like, sexual relations. Every time I see sexual relations, I think of President Bill Clinton. I'm sorry. I really do. I still do to this day. Dylan brought up an incident which occurred about a month prior. Dylan said she and Bethany remembered Kaylee saw a shadow while she was taking Murphy at the side yard. This is outside. Dylan said Kaylee also mentioned when she was at Winco 2 or 3 weeks ago. You know, that's when you remember the guy in the parking lot. So Dylan also said she arrived home one time and the door to the residence was found open. Dylan said she did not believe the slider door was locked the night of 11/12. Dylan said she heard Murphy barking a lot around 0400 hours on 11/13. When Kaylee went upstairs, Dylan said she heard Murphy go outside barking as well. Dylan was unsure if Murphy would chase the suspect outside. Dylan said she did not remember if the suspect who ran left the slider door open. Well, he did. And I mean, I think that Murphy would just walk out the door. Maybe he did follow him out the door barking at him. That would be something else. Okay. So this is Hunter Johnson's interview. Hunter said around 1200 hours on 11/13. Dylan called Emily, which is Hunter's girlfriend. Dylan told Emily she thought something was not right in the house. Dylan also told Emily she heard or saw a man in her house the night prior. Dylan asked Emily and Hunter to come over and make sure everything was okay because she locked herself in Bethany's room. Hunter said he was the first person to get to the residence. Hunter said he entered the code to the front door where Bethany and Dylan were in Bethany's room on the first floor. Dylan and Bethany were telling Hunter they did not know what was going on. Hunter said he went upstairs and immediately went into Xana's room. Hunter said this was the only room he went into. Hunter said when he approached the door, it was only partially opened. Hunter said when he opened it, he saw Xana and Ethan. Hunter said he initially did not realize all the blood was dried blood in the room. Okay, that's the first time we're hearing that. Has anyone heard that? I haven't heard that. I'm glad we're reading through all these. Okay. Okay. So we were under the impression, raise your hand if, I was under the impression the door was open, right? And that Dylan could see Xana all in all that blood and just sitting there. And why didn't she check on her and all of this stuff? And I kept saying, maybe she didn't see her, like, or maybe she just thought she's passed out, like this was like a normal thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, but in college, you pass out where you drop sometimes, right? It's just how it is. But now we're actually like kind of getting confirmation of like even Hunter being inside of the room didn't realize all that blood was dried blood. He didn't realize all that stuff he was looking at was in fact dried blood. Like that's sad. So it says here, we'll read it again. Hunter said this was the only room he went into. Hunter said when he approached the door, it was only partially open. Hunter said when he opened it, he saw Xana and Ethan. Hunter said he initially did not realize all the blood was dried blood in the room. Hunter said he thought at first they had been drunk and left a mess. Hunter said he stood there for a moment. He began to realize what he was seeing. Hunter said Bethany and Dylan were uncontrollably crying. Hunter said he told them to get out of the house and call law enforcement. Hunter said he then went into the kitchen and grabbed a knife from the drawer. Hunter said he then went into the room and checked the closet to make sure there was not anyone else in the room. And like when you walk into Xana's room, her closet was there. So someone definitely could have been hiding right there. Hunter said he checked for a pulse on both Xana and Ethan. Hunter said both of the bodies had rigor mortis and were cold with no breath or pulse. Hunter said he believed the two had been deceased for a while. Hunter said he believed he left the knife on the folding table in the living room. Hunter said Emily, Josie, and Lyndon started to enter the house and come up the stairs. Hunter told them to get out of the residence. Hunter said this was about the time Moscow PD arrived on scene. Good job, Hunter, keeping people out of there. You know, Hunter said the officer told him to stay where he was at. Hunter said he did not know if anyone else was upstairs as he had not gone anywhere else in the house. Hunter said he had trouble comprehending what he was seeing. Hunter said he was not at the Sigma Chi party the night prior. Hunter said he and Ethan were texting the night prior by phone. Hunter said Ethan wanted him to come over, but Hunter chose not to. Hunter said he knew Ethan since fall of 2021. Hunter said he was in Pi Delta Theta and Ethan was a member of Sigma Chi. Hunter indicated Josie and Emily were in the same sorority and were roommates. Hunter said Lyndon, who was also present, was in the fraternity Delta Tau Delta and was currently dating Josie. So Hunter said he and Lyndon stayed at Josie's apartment with Emily and Josie the night of 11/12. Hunter was asked when the last time he was at the King Road residence. Hunter indicated he was last at the residence on 11/12 where he was pre-gaming for the Vandals football game. Hunter said he got it to the residence at around 1200 hours or 1300 hours and left at about 1430 to go to a different party. Hunter said the last time Emily was at the King Road residence was Friday, 11/11. Hunter did not know of anyone who had issues with Ethan and Xana dating. Hunter estimated Xana and Ethan were dating for 8 months. Hunter said he knew Xana very well through his girlfriend, Emily. Hunter said he was not very familiar with Maddie or Kaylee. Hunter allowed pictures to be taken of his phone of the conversations between him and Ethan. Now we have interview 3, Jenna McClure. Yeah, when he went to check. Yeah, I only heard the door was open. Me too, Tony. Tony, I didn't know that the door was only partially open. I mean, that would obscure your view. Especially if you, like, I mean, I don't know. College kids are known to make messes and just leave it till the next day or a couple days, right? You see the rest of the house, like, just sad. So Jenna said she texts Bethany. So she's, I guess, a friend of Bethany's. She lives on Idaho Avenue. Okay. Jenna said she texted Bethany at 11:20 hours on the morning of 11/13/22. Jenna asked Bethany if she was awake. Jenna said Bethany called her back at 11:49 hours. Bethany told Jenna she and Dylan were in Bethany's room. Jenna said Bethany was freaked out because her roommates were not answering the phone. Jenna said she heard Dylan on the phone in the background saying, "I saw something." Jenna said Bethany asked her to come over to the King Road house and pick her up. Jenna said Bethany texted her while she was driving there and said Emily and Hunter were on the way as well. Jenna said she arrived. As she arrived, MPD units were arriving as well. Jenna said she did not go to the Sigma Chi party, but went to a different one instead. Jenna said Bethany and Dylan came to this other party after she left Sigma Chi. Jenna estimated Dylan left her party at 30 hours, and Bethany left her party at about 100 hours on 11/13/22. So we're learning from Jenna. Jenna said she was in Pi Beta Phi with Dylan, Lake, Bethany, and Xana. Jenna said Xana and Maddie were both in Pi Beta Phi, but dropped out, and Kaylee was in Alpha Phi or Alpha Phi, but dropped out as well. Jenna suspected the girls dropped their respective sororities because of issues with other girls in the houses. Jenna specifically cited girls on the executive board who tell other members what to do. Jenna suspected this was what they did not like. Jenna confirmed she liked Dylan or Bill. Oh my gosh, let's start that. Bill and me. I can't even speak. Okay, let's start that one over. Jenna confirmed that she, Lake, Bethany, and Dylan were still active members in Pi Beta Phi. Jenna said the girls who were still active members of the sorority who choose to not live in the house did so because of money issues. Jenna said Maddie was Bethany's big sister in the sorority house. Jenna said she knew Kaylee saw a dark figure staring at her from the tree line when she took her dog Murphy out to pee. Jenna said this occurred about a month ago at the King Road house. Jenna said there has been lighthearted talk and jokes about a stalker in the past. Jenna said all the girls were slightly nervous about it being a fact, though. Jenna did not indicate any social media issues or issues between the girls who lived together. Jenna said there were no issues with the girls from the Pi Beta Phi sorority and the residents at the King Road house. Jenna said the front door had issues with locking and sometimes it could be opened without a code. Jenna said she did not know the code to the front door. Jenna said she was unsure if the residents kept the backsliding door locked regularly. So then we have the interview with Lyndon Beck. Lyndon did not go to the Sigma Chi party. Lyndon said he went to sleep at 200 hours on 11/12/22. At Josie's apartment on Taylor Avenue, Lyndon said he woke up at around 0200 or 0300 hours. Lyndon said he, Josie, and Emily were up talking in the living room in the apartment until about 0500 hours on 11/13. Lyndon indicated Hunter was present but not awake during this time. Lyndon said, oh my, he's giving me a headache with the way he writes these. Linda said they all went to bed at this time and woke up again around what he thought was 0900 hours. Lyndon said Hunter and Emily came into the room where he and Josie were. Lyndon said Dylan had called Emily around 1000 hours. Is that how you say that? And sounded scared. Lyndon said Dylan told Emily someone had been in their house last night. Lyndon said Dylan and Bethany ran downstairs and locked themselves in a room. Lyndon said Dylan informed them she did this because of her seeing someone in the house and Dylan could only see his nose and his chin. Lyndon said Dylan was freaking out and wanted them to come over to her house and check. Lyndon said he walked with Emily, Josie to 1122 King Road from Josie's apartment on Taylor Avenue. Lyndon said Dylan and Bethany walked out of the house crying. Lyndon said Hunter arrived to the residence first because he left before them. Lyndon said he went to the downstairs door and Hunter told him not to come up the stairs. Lyndon said he did not know Ethan very well. Lyndon said he did not recall any talk between Xana and Josie about boy issues. Lyndon said he did not see anything on social media. Lyndon recalled an incident from about a month prior where Dylan said there was a guy stalking her. Lyndon said he did not hear anything from the night prior. Okay. And then they requested warrants for Snapchat with the identifiers, of Maddie, Kaylee, Jack Decor, Dylan, and Bethany. They logged into Snapchat. So they're trying to get into Snap. So okay, on the 28th, Snap Incorporated said, we got the files ready for you to download. He downloaded the files pursuant to the warrant. Okay. And then it says on November 17th, he received and began to receive data from the cell phone providers in response to the warrant served on them. Okay, so the Verizons were ready to be downloaded. He completed the warrant return and sent the documents to Lake Talk County Prosecutor's Office. And then a little bit later, he had got the inland ones from the Inland Cellular. He completed that. Then he got the AT&T ones. He completed that. And then on the 18th, he received 2 emails from T-Mobile. They included files containing the data requested regarding the T-Mobile data or call data records and tower dump data requested. And then he sent them to the Lake Talk County Prosecutor's Office. Okay, so he requested and was granted an amended T-Mobile tower dump data warrant to include devices within a 2-mile radius. This is, I think, goes back to what we were trying to learn earlier about if the phone was in the area. The original warrant included only about 0.5 miles. On November 26th, at approximately 20:59 hours, the warrant was served on T-Mobile via email. On November 28th, I received an email with the files provided. These files were downloaded to the computer in the Secure Computer Forensic Lab. An examination of the data will be conducted at my earliest convenience. Okay, I don't like when you say that. And then he gave them to the prosecutor's office. Okay, let's see what else he says about it. So then this was November 13th. He was directed to interview potential witnesses. He was tasked with extracting data from the following phones: Dylan, Bethany, Jack, Emily, and Maisie. I received signed consent forms from Mortensen, Decora, Lott, and Chapin. I was informed by Corporal Brett Payne. Funk provided verbal consent for her phone to be extracted. Okay. Then they extracted the data and then they returned the phones to them. And he applied for and was granted warrants for iCloud for, looks like, Bethany, Dylan, Jack, Kaylee, Ethan, Xana. I'm just seeing if any of this is relevant. This is them just saying, remember, like the 3 Apple computers, and then there's like 2 regular computers, and then like the iPad. They're just saying that they were completed, like the return came back for them to be able to download. So it doesn't say what they downloaded, just said that they got the warrants back. So then they, on November 29th, they applied and was granted warrants for, Kaylee Gonzalez's Tinder account. And then a couple of email addresses also. So then the warrant was served. On December 2nd, 2022, I received an email from Norma Rivera, senior paralegal and director of the legal department for Match Group. Oh, wow. The parent company for Tinder. Okay, so the documents were sent to the prosecutor's office. So then this is all blank. This is the geofence warrant for any data associated with these latitude, longitudes points. S.A. Nick Mallance with the Federal Bureau of Investigation assisted in the production and service of the warrant. On November 18th, the warrant was served. And they received the data. What the heck is this? Based on the information received and the correlation with cell tower records previously reviewed, 2 of the anonymous identifiers were found to be of interest. Those identifiers were, and then it just says 1 and 2, but it doesn't say like the longitude, latitude, or I'd look it up. Okay, so then they're serving another warrant. They downloaded the files. Then they give it to the stupid Latah County Prosecutor's Office, so we don't know. Then they want the Instagram, the Meta. So Bethany, Dylan, Maddie, Xana, and a couple we just got their numbers. We don't have their names. Okay. Meta sent emails stating the files were ready to download. They download, it's like, it sounds like they download them and then they give them to the prosecutor's office. Yeah, that's what they do. I don't like that. Aren't you the investigators? Like, why are we not putting this in our reports? Victim phone extractions, and that was on 12/4. So then on November 15th, he contacted Detective Taylor of the Coeur d'Alene Police Department with a request for an agency assist. I requested assistance unlocking the cell phones of Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan. And then they transported them to the CDA Police Department. Then they wanted to access, PIN numbers. So they asked the family members, but it says here, I was provided PIN codes for Mogan, Kernodle, and Chapin, which successfully unlocked the devices. The PIN code provided for Gonzalez's phone did not unlock the device. I mean, I don't. Does your parents know your computer, like your device code? No one knows mine. Vincent. Oh, I love me some Criminal Minds. Hey, Mary Beth. Welcome in, everybody. If I didn't see ya, hey, DM. Welcome in. Have I seen you since the beginning of the new year? If I didn't see you, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. And if you're just now coming in, we are actually going through Detective Mowery's reports, and I mean they've given us a little bit of new information. So we're just I'm kind of skimming through them now a little bit, so it's a little bit easier. But yeah, that's what we're doing. So then on 3 devices he was able to unlock, he performed advanced logical extractions. A report for each device will be completed separately. And then they had the phones. He picked up the phones. He went to the Walla Walla Police Department. I don't know who that is. But they wanted to use them to unlock devices for Kaylee's phone. Sounds like. And then the phone extractions were completed. Watch. And he's like, I'm going to download this. And then it'll say, oh, I gave it to, prosecutor. So then he applied and he was granted for a warrant. He was granted a warrant for data associated with Kaylee's Yahoo account for her email. On December 1st at approximately 13:55 hours, the warrant was served via the Yahoo law enforcement portal. On December 4th, he received an email. Okay, and then he completed the email. He returned it to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office, So everybody in their brother's Tinder account, is this Tinder account using the following identifiers, but this is Snapchat. Who the heck's these people? Big. I hope they change their Snapchat, their everything. How many see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know if these are supposed to be checked. I think these are all them, but like there's like 20 some here. So he got all of it. He downloaded it. And then we don't get nothing. Page is gone. He applied and he was granted for warrant for subscriber information for a Tinder account associated with Maddie. He requested it. They gave it back to him. In reviewing the contents, I found no recent communications with other accounts. The newest communication appears to have happened in 2021. So that was the last time she talked to anybody on the old Tinder. Then we've got the DoorDash. DoorDash is possession related to sales, deliveries, purchases. Okay. And transactions made to 1122 King Road for the period of January 1st to present. Okay, so they served the warrant, they downloaded it, and they gave it to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. Then they requested an amended warrant for Meta, for the Maddie, Jack, and Kaylee, Xana, and then a couple other people. They just don't want to say the names. We just read this. So they were ready for downloaded, and then they took them to the prosecutor's office. We just read that same page. Okay, and then there's this blank page. So then he wanted Reddit's possession of Kaylee Gonzalez's accounts. The warrant was served. He received an email, saying containing the data requested was, here you go. And then he gives it to the prosecutor's office again. Prosecutor's office again. Okay, I just want to make sure we don't miss anything, but yeah. Okay, so this is the one about like the acne or something, the skincare addiction. It says, in reviewing the data, I found the account was registered on November 18th, 2020. There was one message which was posted on January 22nd, 2021, under the subreddit Skincare Addiction, with the following text. Any idea what would cause this type of acne? Never struggled with acne before. I started developing these types of bumps on my jawline, chin, down my neck. The rest of my face is clear. I am on a non-hormonal birth control, copper IUD. Tried everything to get rid of it, and nothing helps. The only other message I located appeared to be from an automated message from Reddit on December 11th, 2021, with the subject line of your 2021 Reddit recap is here. Okay. Blank page. He applied and was granted a warrant for any data associated with knife sales of the following items: K-bar knife, full-size U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife, and the knife sheath. The warrant was served via FedEx to Amazon. Amazon responded. He gave it to the prosecutor's office. Well, thanks for keeping it. Okay, so then on December 22nd, I was tasked, I think this is when he breaks it. I was tasked with reinstalling the exterior camera known as the light bulb camera at 1112 King Road to capture some comparison video and audio. We did that with our camera. I contacted one of the tenants, Tori Long, who gave me permission to access her residence and conduct the recording. Upon arrival, I unplugged the power to the current router and removed the camera from the light socket to the exterior of the residence. I then powered on the router I had secured from the residence earlier and installed the camera I secured as evidence earlier into the light socket. While installing the camera, I hear a crack and felt the light bulb base mount come loose. This is it, yeah. It should be noted the approximate temperature outside while installing the camera was between 5 and 9 degrees. Cold. I previously had installed a new SD card into the camera and powered on the router and camera at the Moscow Police Department to ensure the camera was functional. I then was able to monitor the camera using the Home My Pro app on my phone. Yeah. Brett Corporal Payne was able to drive a white colored vehicle into the view of the camera. Sergeant Destin Blaker parked a vehicle near the residence and closed the doors and trunk on a vehicle for audio comparison. A K-9 unit from Lewis County Sheriff's Office was utilized to capture barking audio comparison from the residence. That's crazy. So they get this dog. Hey, Casey. They get this dog that comes out and barks to see where the dog could have been standing. Oh, my goodness. My dogs wouldn't bark on command. But you put them near somebody and they would. Upon completion of the data collection, I powered off the evidentiary router and removed the camera from the light socket. In doing so, the base detached from the camera and a wire became disconnected. I gathered the router and camera, placed them back into their evidentiary bags, and returned them to the secure computer forensic lab. Basically, what he ended up doing was he reinstalled it to the one where you can use it in the power cord, or like the power, like the outlet. But it didn't like mess up any of the videos. So then this is a warrant for Brian Christopher Kohberger. Anybody want the email? I mean, I'm sure it's open. He received it and they sent it to the prosecutor's office. Okay, so he was unlocking a laptop. The laptop was Kaylee's, and it was for as a paid employee of Extreme Networks. The warrant requested permission for Extreme Networks to unlock or provide a password for the laptop. He gave it to the prosecutor's office. Okay. On December 29th, based on the above information, the Latah County Court signed an order finding probable cause for the criminal complaint charging burglary and 4 counts of murder in the first degree to Brian Christopher Kohberger. He was arrested at his family's home at 119 Lambsden Drive in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. That same day, a Pennsylvania magistrate signed a search warrant for the residence, which included Brian Kohberger's cell phone. Kohberger's cell phone was taken into evidence as part of the search warrant. Kohberger's cell phone device is currently in evidence at the FBI Philadelphia Regional Computer Forensic Laboratory. Okay. The phone data was extracted by FBI SSA Jeffrey Tanzola, subsequent to the warrant being served. On January 9th, I received a hard drive from SSA Tanzola, which contains a copy of the data. Yeah. They don't tell us nothing. They give it to the damn prosecutor. Okay, I began examining the data for any accounts linked to the phone and Kohberger with other electronic service providers, such as Facebook, Snapchat, etc. I located the following installed applications, website history, screenshots, and usernames/passwords associated with the electronic service provider. Let's see what he liked. What kind of apps did you have on your phone there? Kohberg's. And which ones can I actually delete now? Because these are, I got Yik Yak for this. Hold on. I'm not even kidding. I'm about to be deleting some apps. So we got Yik Yak, LinkedIn, Reddit, Twitter, Tinder, Dropbox, Washington Trust Bank, PayPal, YouTube, TikTok, Amazon, Visa, prepaid processing, Windomeet, Activision, GroupMe, NetTeller, Hulu, Instagram, Facebook, PSECU, Spotify, Booking.com, Travelocity, Strava, NordVPN. NordVPN. Huh. Now, if a VPN was found on, let's say, Kaylee's devices, I'm sure that people would have a shit fit about that, right? Or if it was found on Maddie's, Ethan's, Jack's, anyone. It's on Kohberger's. So, what are you hiding, Kohberger? I know it's not because you go to the freaking local Starbucks and you don't want them knowing your Wi-Fi. Come on. I know that better than that. So then now they want the Tinder account. Then they gave all that information over. It sounds like, no, it doesn't. Let's see. So in reviewing the contents, I found several unique identifiers associated with Brian. Associated with the Brian Christopher 1994 @gmail.com account. These UIDs were also associated with the phone number 5885. The UIDs were as follows. And it gives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow, he probably deleted them a lot. Yeah, probably to reinstall the apps so people would actually. You know what it was? Brian Koberger probably downloaded Tinder one time. First time it sucked because the girl, had to fake getting sick to get him the hell away from her. So then maybe he's like, that didn't work. Let me revamp, right? I'm just coming back. Brian 2.0, right? And then he comes back and he does something else that's stupid. So then he makes another account because maybe people aren't swiping right on him. Maybe he's like, oh, if I make another account, it'll reset. I'm making that up, but I'm not making that up, but you never know. I did make up that part about him making it to multiple accounts. That's why, I don't know why he has so many accounts. Sent to the prosecutor's office. He granted a warrant for, look at Maddie's Tinders. I knew about it, but I think Maddie had one that was like a lot. There, look at all hers. I wonder why people have so many damn Tinders. He gave it to prosecutor's office. Blank page again. Okay, yik yak for Brian. Prosecutor's office, let's see. Yeah. Dropbox. There were 3 files in the account. 2 appear to be associated with using the Dropbox service. The third was an MP4 video titled Kids for Cash. This appears to be a movie released in 2013, and IMDb.com provides the following as an overview. Kids for Cash is a riveting look behind the notorious judicial scandal that rocked the nation. Beyond the millions paid in high-stakes corruptions, Kids for Cash exposes a shocking American secret. In the wake of the shootings at Columbine, a small town celebrates a charismatic judge who is hell-bent on keeping kids in line until one parent dares to question the motives behind his brand of justice. This real-life thriller reveals the untold stories of the masterminds at the center of the scandal and the chilling aftermath of lives destroyed in the process of stunning emotional roller coaster. Okay, they sent that to the prosecutor's office. That's a blank page. Oh, it wasn't. Surprised him. And then the Twitter account with Brian. Sent it over, it looks like. Then they sent it back. In reviewing the contents, I found the following data. See, it looks like his email and stuff doesn't look like anything. Well, they sent it to Latah County, so prosecutor's office. Then warrant was served on Koberger for, Google? Yeah. Oh, this is a warrant was signed by Magistrate Megan Marshall with 7 days to serve the legal process. January 26, 2023, at approximately 09:11 hours, the warrant was served via Google law enforcement portal. I received an email shortly after. Okay. In reviewing the contents, I found the following subscriber information. Google account ID, name Mastery M. Given name Mastery, family name M. Then it's Brian's birthday. He created this on 3/5/2019. Last updated 7/24/2022. Hinge dating app. We got another one. Meet People Acquisition. What? Bumble. And then Friends. That's an app. He'd be trying to meet. He was just trying to find love. Thanks, Carrie. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. Oh, I forgot to put I always do that in the beginning of the live, but I'll do it now. If anyone wants to become a member of our channel. Let me cancel that and see if I can give you the link if you'd like to become a member. You guys are great. Thanks for being here today. I appreciate you. Thanks for listening to me read, because this is interesting stuff. So in examining the email contents associated with the Gmail account, I found emails referencing a Twitch account with the username of Cunning Chris. Who is that? Associated to a YouTube account using the Gmail account that referenced a cunningly this. I don't know what that says. Can we look this up on YouTube? Like, copy that. Like, is this like are we talking about like a YouTube channel? Let me see. I don't see anything like that. I'll look into that though. I'm gonna be looking into that. Okay. They sent it to the prosecutor's office. Warrant for TikTok for Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana. They found the data that they go back and forth, and then he finds the data he needs, and then he sends it over to the prosecution's office. And then sometimes there's an empty page. This one, he applied for a warrant with any Strava accounts linked to Brian Kohlberger. Yeah, but he only has one little run on there, Sends it over to, Moscow or the prosecution's office, sorry. So then this is for the Reddit account. Okay, and then Reddit said it's able to download. And reviewing the contents with Kohlberger, I found the account name was for Mastery, and the registration date was September 24, 2021, which showed near Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. Okay. Like, what are these? And I can't it's hard to highlight it. You know what I mean? It highlights two of them at a time. I got to write these down so we can go through these because I don't know what these are. See, that put too much stuff in. Let's see if we can just do the first one. Oh, this is the one where about the felons community and stuff. Remember he was in there? Oh, I forgot about that. Okay. We might have to go through this if you guys don't remember them. But there was a lot. There's felons, prisons. Kids are effing stupid. And then he has this DeSales EDU email. So then he has a user for account name OK Program 6861. And that date was December 30th, 2022 that he registered that. And that's when he got arrested. When did you do that? This is location near Tampa, Florida. Oh, it's not verified. During these dates, Kohlberger was incarcerated and not in Florida. When's the date? Oh, the 2022, but they got him early. Okay. The second account was criminology student. Oh, yeah, I think these ones were both not him. Yeah, Kansas City. And then prison, I attempted to post a survey to the prison subreddit, but my post was automatically removed. I think this is him. I imagine that this may be due to the lack of activity on my account, as I have seen others post research recruitment post on this subreddit within the past few months. Would it be possible to obtain approval to submit a recruitment post to prisons? He wants to send out his little survey, Let me have room for my survey, please. We went through all of these before. It says, I just approved the most recent one you posted. I have the auto mod filter comments of new accounts or super low karma. You should be fine now. Okay. He wants says, would it be possible to have a repost of my recruitment post approved for submission? I think it would be beneficial for the recruitment effort. Thanks, Brian. Then you've been temporarily banned from participating in felons or it lasts for 1 day. You can still view and subscribe, but you won't be able to post. We do not approve of these posts. Please stop posting this. If you have a question regarding your ban, you can contact the moderator team. He was mad. Subject, research study done. Thank you for submitting a report to Reddit. Your report and the related content have already been processed through our anti-abuse systems for review. It has been determined that the reported content does not violate Reddit's content policy. If you'd like to restrict contact from the accounts you reported, you can block them in your safety privacy app. Okay. These are just automatic messages. So he was looking in prison talk, prisons, and ex-cons. And look, participants needed. Hello, my name is Brian, and I'm inviting you to participate in a research project that seeks to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. Oh, we should actually write this to him. Okay, let's act like we're, okay. Dear Brian, I am inviting you to participate in a research project that seeks to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a horrific quadruple murder. In particular, this study seeks to understand the story behind your most and only criminal offense, because you're a loser, with an emphasis on your thoughts and feelings throughout your experience. Yeah, I think we should write this to Koberger. Hey, Crystal, I think it would be good. In the event that your recent only offense was not one that led to a conviction, it did, because you are awful, you may still participate. Additional surveys are included after the open-ended section as to best understand your unique traits. The study should take about 30 minutes to complete fully. This study should take about the rest of your life to complete fully. And there's just the questions that they went through, or that up here, it's just like, be 18 or older, participation's greatly appreciated. They send that to the county prosecutor. Don't know what this is. Oh, the VPN. It puts a city in Kansas City. What? Is that what that means? Why is it 99%? What's 99% abusive? IP. What does that mean? Okay, what page are we on? I need Vincent to help me better understand this. Oh, I don't know. So then Reddit legal support. Send them an email. Oh, upvoted, downvoted. They're just talking about that. Snapchat, reference to the warrant served on 21st of November for the accounts of Xana, Ethan, associated with Kaylee, associated with Jack, associated with Dylan, associated with Bethany. Okay, so technical issues appears to have impacted the records for November 28th. I don't think they'll need to worry about that, though. Okay. And then they applied for a warrant for Snapchat for Xana, Kaylee, Ethan, Dylan, Bethany, Maddie. So they just wanted to change the warrant, I think the date from August 1st through November 20th to a different date. And It says, based on the information obtained from Washington State University, Brian Koberger moved to the Pullman, Washington on or about June 23rd, 2022. So they needed to change that. And then they did grant them that. They sent it to the Latah County Prosecutor's Office. Call data records for, it says Maddie Mogan, and Xana Kernodle between June 23rd, 2022 to August 1st, 2022. Order was granted. Then he sent it to the prosecutor's office. Oh, that's about the Snapchat technical issues. Facebook for Maddie, Dylan, Bethany, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana. Wanted to change the dates on that. That's what it sounds like. And then he sends it to the prosecutor's office. Call data records for June 23rd to August 1st for the Verizon wireless numbers ending in 3185 and 1841. They want to just change the dates on those again. We've seen these before, I think. I felt like we've seen something similar anyway. So Instagram accounts for Bethany, Dylan, Ethan, Xana, Kaylee. Just want to change the dates. And then they send them over to prosecution's office. Call detail records that were obtained from AT&T. Okay. For the time of November 12th through November 14th. I was specifically requested to examine the records showing connectivity to cell towers between the hours of 0200 and 0600 Pacific, as this was the time frame surrounding the homicides at 1122 King Road. Although the records contain records for voice, data, and SMS usage in the 48-hour data set, I only located 27 data usage records in that specific time frame. Okay. The 8458 phone, which is Brian Koberger, connects with several different cell towers in Pullman, Washington between 0200 hours and 0225 hours. The phone appears to be traveling within or near the city of Pullman, Washington. At 0242 hours, the phone connects to a tower near Northeast Skyview Drive on the Washington State University campus. Then at 2:47, it connects to a tower on Observation Drive. In continuing to examine the data, I found an approximately 2-hour period with no interactions between the 8458 phone and the AT&T network between 0247 and 0448. The phone connects to a tower located near Paradise Ridge, south of Moscow, Idaho at 4:48 hours. The phone connects to a tower located near Paradise Ridge, south of Moscow. The phone connects with towers south of Moscow, Idaho, which is consistent with the phone traveling back to Pullman, Washington, utilizing towers along the route. And we have heard this before. But we just, sometimes you need to hear it again. Especially if you're just listening in. Okay. What's next? We have February 23rd. They applied for a warrant for the Gmail accounts located from Brian Koberger. Associated with 8458 or 7312. I think he might have had maybe a second phone. But just for maybe a second phone that he could just use Wi-Fi or something on. On February 28th, the warrant was granted. Okay. Then he gave it to the Latah County people, Latah County Prosecutor's Office. Then he wanted to change the dates on the Instagram accounts for Xana and Maddie, it looks like. He had to change the name for Xana. It was signed and it was signed by Megan Marshall. And then it was given to the prosecutor's office. I mean, look at all this paper they're wasting if they're printing this crap out. I'm just saying. So then TikTok account for Brian Koberger. Did he have a TikTok? Oh my gosh, I'd love to see. I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, doing like a dance or something, like a trending dance, that would be kind of funny because he's an idiot. On January 25th, the warrant was granted and signed by Meghan Marshall. Then it was given, it looks like, hold on. Oh man. It says, please note that after a diligent search, we were unable to locate any TikTok accounts associated with identifiers. Yes, sir. Nigam? I don't even know what that says. BK5781 at the sales or his phone number. But he did find a username here. He's user 219335260. Hey, now you're user 163214. Look at that. In searching for the geolocation of an IP address, I found it returned to NordVPN out of Seattle, Washington. NordVPN has been located as an installed app on Koberger's phone. No information was provided by TikTok regarding messages sent or received following followers or following accounts or user-created content. They gave that to the prosecutor's office. Okay, so this is the T-Mobile account. Wanted to change the date. Oh, the dates, it looks like. Oh. Was that this page? Yeah. Okay. Several emails from Facebook with reference number of 7714722. These emails stated, oh, what's this? Oh, sorry. We became aware of an issue that may affect our previous production of IP addresses in this case. The updated IP records are now available for download. Okay. They downloaded the provided files. Okay. Then he applied and was granted a search for data related to Amazon purchases and click activity for the following identifiers. Brian C. Koberger. Let's see. On April 27, 2023, at approximately 14:11 hours, the warrant was served via Amazon. Later, it was found the warrant was dated March instead of April. An amended warrant was requested and granted. On June 27, 2023, I received an email from F.A. Douglas. The email was a response from a no reply, at Amazon, stating the data was available to download. Okay. They downloaded it. Probably gave it to Latah County Prosecutor Attorney. In an attempt to locate further online accounts or online service providers utilized by Brian Koberger, I began previewing the data forensically acquired from the desktop computer seized from the residence of Brian Koberger, located at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201, Pullman, Washington. In this device, I located references to both PayPal and OneDrive. Okay, we know what PayPal is, so internet artifacts were located on the computer with the following URLs. PayPal sign-in, PayPal security, or PayPal credit. Try to get a PayPal credit card. You may go get that. PayPal.com, my account. Okay. OneDrive is owned by Microsoft. Okay, we don't need to know that. That it appeared to be installed and set to auto run on the computer. Hold on, let me see. We might need to know. OneDrive is owned by Microsoft and is then reported by Microsoft to be a file hosting service operated by Microsoft, first launched in August 2007, and enables registered users to share and synchronize their files. OneDrive also works as their storage back end of the web version of Microsoft Office. This service could be linked to additional accounts or show potential transactions important to the case. Okay. Sent an email. It says, okay, from my training and experience, I know cloud-based storage like OneDrive can contain files not located on local computers, hard drives, or other storage media. These files could be created entirely online or moved to the cloud storage and then deleted from the local device. So yeah, like you could upload your pictures to the iCloud and then delete the pictures off your phone, right? Because they're in your iCloud now. And then he has like all these names. I also know the online payment service PayPal was referenced and appears to have been utilized on the computer. His dad and mom probably sent him money. I would think, Then Spotify, because he's a rapper. On July 25th, 2023, I applied for the warrant for user data from June 1st. Now, I wonder when the cops heard this, what they thought of his rap. Hey, Marcella, I wonder what they thought of his rap. I mean, like, really, can you imagine being these cops and they're sitting there and they've been they're like co-burgered out probably, I mean, we've all been there. And they're like, oh, there's a song. And they're probably not thinking it's him. They're probably thinking it's a song that he liked. And they start playing it and it's him. I mean, I'm going to learn that rap. I'm going to learn it. So it says here, based on information obtained, he moved about, there about June 23rd. He got the data. The documents were sent to Latah County Prosecutor's Office, so they got the laugh. They applied for a warrant for PayPal accounts, but they wanted to switch the dates, and they returned it to the prosecuting attorney. Applied for warrants for user data, again, with YouTube accounts for Brian Koberger. Okay. They received an Instagram stating the data requested pursuant to the warrant was available. And then they gave it to Latah County. Man, we want to see. Koberger iCloud download. On August 7th, I asked to download and decrypt the data files received pursuant to the warrant reserved for the iCloud account associated with Brian Koberger. He was able to download it. These files were given to the computer lab, and the copies were placed into evidence. I applied for a warrant for, looks like TikTok accounts from Ethan, Dylan Mortenson's TikTok account, Bethany Funk, and then there was a previous warrant for Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana. And then it just says, based on what he knows, Brian moved to Pullman on or about June 23rd. He wants to just change the dates, and then he sends it over to the prosecuting attorney's office. And then they keep a copy. Then they applied for user information for the Microsoft accounts for the OneDrive for Brian Koberger. Then he applied for a warrant for Instagram account for Xana, Maddie, or Kaylee. And I think this is all they're putting back in these same warrants because they know Brian had moved June 23rd. And they're like, okay, we need to go back a little bit in our warrant, they maybe were doing these warrants from July to, December or whatever, November, December. And they're like, oh crap, he moved here in June, not July. So we got to go back a little further. That's what these are. Then he received an email from Latah County Prosecutor's Office in reference to downloading additional video from the security camera. Okay, previous video had been downloaded from the camera from the approximate time frame of 2:30 to 4:30. So then with different methods, forensically acquired data from the camera's SD card, additional videos were downloaded. However, they did not include the audio. So then they had to go back. I was requested to download videos to include audio from the approximate time frame of 0445 to 1200 hours on November 13th. Due to the fact the camera light bulb connection was inadvertently broken previously, a repair to the device to allow it to be powered on was needed. Okay. I received 2 emails from Facebook in reference to the case number 7714722. The email stated, we became aware of an issue where a previous production associated with this case may have been incomplete. Okay. And then it says that he gave the report. He got the reports off and then sent them to Moscow Police Department. They're saved to their computers. And then this is for the Facebook again. And he did the same thing. He downloaded them and place them into evidence. I mean, it sounds like they did their job pretty well to me. So then previously, Latah County Prosecutor's Office requested any cast bids sessions logs pertaining to the phone number, that's Kohberger's. I did not locate nor remember creating any session log pertaining to the screenshots I created previously using cast vids. Okay. While preparing for the motion to comply hearing set for May 23rd, 2024, I found the following files. They appear to be 2 zip files containing what appears to be cast vids session files. Kohberger 48-hour records, Kohberger full records. I also located the following files with the session file or session.data file, sorry. Locked board near crime scene, working and export. Okay. So we couldn't even get me receive error message. Okay. On July 22nd, 2024, I transferred 4 items previously secured in the Moscow Police Department Digital Forensic Lab to the MPD evidence room. I received these items from the FBI and they were placed into a secure storage area upon receipt. No further analysis needed. These 4 items were listed. Samsung phone belonging to Brian Kohberger. Spelled his name wrong. Samsung hard drive belonging to Brian Kohberger. Samsung and Seagate hard drives belonging to Brian Kohberger. Acer laptop belonging to Brian Kohberger. And that was the stuff that they got from his home. So. Oh, look, somebody with the same name with Vincent. Hey, Mandy. Oh, I'm sorry you have to work, Marcella. That's no fun. And thanks for listening to me today. I appreciate that. And thank you for the super chats and all that. You guys are so nice. We got a new member. I love that. But that's all I got for Detective Mowery. But woo, that took me a minute to read, didn't it? I was like, I can do it. I can do it all in one. I have like this retainer in, and it's like, oh, and it's like scratching the side of my mouth. She's going to have to fix this thing. So she's going to have to fix it. But I do appreciate you guys being here. I'll be on later. Maybe I'll be on later today. I'm not sure. Maybe my second channel. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I just finished packing up, like I was telling you guys, all of my Christmas decorations for the year. And now I have to get everything back out that, belongs where it belongs, which isn't a lot. But I want to dust everything and clean it all and make it all like, nice and pretty for the winter. So thank you guys for being here. I'm going to go do all that fun stuff. I might even get on TikTok later. So if you're on TikTok, make sure that you add me. Also, if you want to add me over there on Unfiltered with Tanya, I need some followers. We're like struggling. We're on the struggle bus over there with the followers for the for my Unfiltered, because I don't really get on there and promote it that much. But my video last night did 37,000 views over there. And that I did like a short 2-second video. And I was like, oh. So that was pretty good. But thank you guys for being here today. I do appreciate it. I'll see you guys all later tonight or tomorrow. Have a good day. Happy New Year to those I haven't seen yet, to tell you Happy New Year, and have a wonderful night. Bye, guys. If you're watching on a replay, also let me know you're watching on replay, because I love to know. Bye, guys.
Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. too many quarters in my pockets. Count 'em like the 4-leaf clovers in my